Buddies! Buddies! Bodies! 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 World Zocken. Melodies. 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 Please load. Bodies! Rainbow! Melodies! Rainbow! Bodies! Rainbow! Melodies! Linksbow! Northeast!
Du hättest wissen müssen, dass es ein Fehler war, herzukommen. Zum Glück hab ich Gesindel, das sich um angeschwemmtes Treibgut kümmert.
Body! Linksbow! Northeast! Linksbow! Body! Linksbow! Northeast! Body! Linksbow!
Zerstören. Ein paar Zielübungen. Die Welt zerstöre. Ich lasse mich nicht abweisen! Ich laufe nie und Schütze für mich.
Body!
Lasse mich nicht abweisen!
Oh!
Meine Hand zu sterben. Eben für solche Fälle. Ist sie hervorragend.
Body!
Oh Mann. Komm schon. Lucifer. Scheiße.
Rainbow! Body! Bodies! Let's go! Bodies!
Was ist denn da ran, Mann?
Bodies!
Shit. Shit, Mann. Ah, sorry. Fuck. Das war Mist. Ah.
Rainbow! Bloody! Bloody! Rainbow! Bloody! Bloody! Rainbow! Please go, bodies!
Alter. Was denn ist mit mir?
Bodies! Let's go! Bodies! 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 Please move!
Oh shit. Ich wollte. Oh Mann, ey. Scheiße. Ah, fuck. Scheiße. Okay.
Body!
Ja,
Body! Link! Body! 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 No! Body!
Victia, Benefuta, Watombe, Depane,
Body! 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 Let's go! Body! Body!
shit. Alles auf mich. Oh Mann. Okay. Mann. Ich kann auch wieder gehen.
Willkommen, Viborian!
Let's go! Body!
Ja, scheiß drauf, Mann, ey.
Vicnia, Benekunga, Wakoke,
Bloody!
Shit! Shit! Ah. Fuck. Ich kann auch gehen.
Willkommen, Viborian! Licht mir ab, wenn ich Hunger! Was kommt
du nicht, Mann. Fuck.
Mordi! Let's go! Mordi!
Scheiße! Ich muss dauernd die Typen heilen. Kotzen. Ja.
Main smoke! Smarties! Let's go! Snow D! Sleep snow! Smarties!
Strebe immer nach neuem Wissen. Wie kann ich dir behilflich sein?
Ah, ich habe es schon gehört. Endlich ist Ihre Schreckensherrschaft vorüber.
New World is an absolute disaster, and it's getting worse every single day. Whether you put a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it means nothing because engagement does the exact same thing, no matter what type it is, so thanks for that. This video is going to be completely one-sided and very critical. I'll be talking about the largest problems with New World because there are too many of them right now, and they are far too massive to be ignored. Some of these problems are well known, some aren't. Some have top voted Reddit posts and some don't. Some of them will get fixed and some ignored, but ultimately this will be half catharsis and half awareness campaign, if you will, because I'm at the end of my rope with this game. Having waited for it patiently through multiple delays, tested and submitted as much feedback as I possibly could during pre-release phases, most of which was obviously either ignored or not prioritized and got lost in the crowd, and rallied a community behind the title for the sake of social gameplay, I find myself using the channel for something less common but much more inflammatory, which is, simply put, me venting about something that I care for that is utterly and completely fucked right now. New World is a botched game. Will it stay that way? I have absolutely no idea, but what it is right now is a failed product and a horrible experience. This might seem completely out of touch when compared to how many other creators are discussing the title right now, and it might even seem like a sharp turn from my own thoughts on the game during preview phases, and even the closed beta. And it might seem that way because, in essence, it's kind of true. This game, as I discussed in my official review, which is up on the channel by the way, has two distinct faces, but I wasn't even aware at that point in time while I made that review just how bad it really was. On the one hand, there's a great experience that will probably last 100 or more hours if the game clicks for you, and you can have it for no monthly fee whatsoever and a simple $40 box price. That's a good deal if you get even, 80 hours of fun, because pound for pound, the earlier parts of this game, and the progression up until maybe a little over halfway through various different crafting professions and basic level 60 content, pound for pound, it's very fun. But I'm not here to talk about the fun parts and try to soothe the honeymoon phase doe-eyed casuals who still haven't made it past level 20. You are probably the most important demographic in gaming right now, and that level of self-discipline will actually help your overall experience in this game by slowing down the ticking time bomb. But when that thing goes off, you will realize that this game is falling off a cliff and was completely unfit to be released. Let's start with what was a problem and still is before moving to the new and exponentially worse things that have started to crop up. For starters, the drop rates are completely botched. This has been an issue since long before release day, and it wasn't changed. Drop rates for certain rare resources that are needed in many different crafting recipes either have a misplaced decimal or they're sadistic. There are specific resources that simply don't show up on the global market, can be farmed for dozens of hours without getting a single one at all. And that's perfectly fine if scarcity is the actual goal, but these are tier 3 and tier 4 resources, while the tier 5 versions, hypothetically even more rare, or should be, are dropping at a frequency that is orders of magnitude greater, thereby totally undermining the entire economic curve of certain professions. You want to craft tier 4 legendary items? You probably just can't do it. Not because you aren't skilled enough, not because you don't know where to look for those components, but because those components just don't exist on your server. I've heard rumors that some of these items are starting to drop, that people have 1 or 2 here and there, but when recipes require 5, 10, even 20 of those items, and you only see 1 on the entire server every few days, that's a broken system. And it's going to get worse as more players level into a bracket where they become affected by it. Next up is expeditions. This requires me to explain how they work for those that have not progressed far enough yet. Expeditions are an integral part of the PvE experience. I would actually assert that they are a massive chunk of what you will be doing both mid and endgame, because they have unique bosses, mechanics, and locations, while also dropping good gear and helping break up the monotony of open world boss farming. Trust me, I'll cover that one soon, because it's an absolute joke. Expeditions require tuning orbs, which are a sort of key to the dungeon. The problem? Tuning orbs are bind-on pickup items that require high crafting skills to make. That means you need to have someone physically in your group in order to do them who has trained those particular skills, like stone cutting for example. Seems fine so far, but wait until you learn that some of the components for those tuning orbs come from corrupted breaches. Well, corrupted breaches are another large chunk of the endgame, so that makes sense. And you need the corrupted chunks or fragments or whatever they are, the top tier ones, which are also bind-on pickup. Well, wait a second, because the corruption portals are broken right now and can't be closed because nearly every single player in the game has an Azoth staff glitch that locks them out of both the 55 and 65 level variant types. Well, uh-oh, that's not good, because the corruption breaches and PvE expeditions are one of the main sources of endgame gear. Combined, I would argue they're actually the majority of endgame content, and they don't work, leading to a complete stagnation in available activities post-level 60. Keep in mind, like or dislike, you benefit me and this video, but what's even more important is realizing that this criticism is not a function of me complaining that the content doesn't exist, it's me claiming that the content does exist and is there, but it just doesn't fucking work. The PvE and crafting is broken, and when added to an economy that has no actual basis in financial reason or logic, it creates a gameplay environment that is incredibly frustrating. Speaking of economic balance here, having heard from an ex-member of mine who now runs with a different company on the same server, the taxation framework in New World is bleeding companies dry. The taxation frequency and values are contributing to a downward spiral where companies can't afford to participate in certain systems because the goal just isn't there. And this problem was nowhere to be seen at launch and was impossible to really gather feedback on pre-release because it takes time to understand how those values will interact. Oh, also, the other aspect of mid/endgame PvE, which is invasions, that's gatekept by companies to such an extreme degree, using the systems Amazon has deliberately designed, it's unlikely that most people will ever even get to participate. I say this as someone who has and can participate in many different invasions, which are a fun aspect of the game with decent rewards, and I also say it as someone who enjoys that activity and wants more people to get to play it. One of the best parts of Endgame, the last pillar standing that isn't unplayable and broken like expeditions and corruption breaches, literally, is gate-kept away from most players. So PvE is completely botched in the endgame because two of the main systems, the biggest systems, in their entirety just don't work, and the third is denied for most players, but it gets exponentially worse because that's only PvE. For PvP, I find it hard to even express just how dysfunctional and broken the game really is, but I'll do my best here. In the background right now is a clip of the PvP experience when teams decide to exploit. I've talked about it before, and it's still a thing. Well, what about Amazon's response to this? Their response? I don't know how the hell this ended up being a thing, but their response was to stealth nerf all AoE abilities, which completely gutted their ability to heal or do damage, but didn't solve the lag problem. Instead of having AoE abilities stack, they now conflict. That means multiple healers are just overriding each other, and Ice Gauntlet users are just canceling each other's abilities. And it's not the strongest instance of the ability, or the greatest value or damage number, it's just whatever most recent ability was cast, which means in a 50 versus 50 war, you are probably never going to get reasonable damage again with most AoE abilities. But the lag exploit, the thing this was designed to apparently cure, there are still ways to do it. Absolutely genius. However, that's nothing compared to what comes next. It turns out, if you shrink your game down to a window and then click on it while dragging it around the screen, you become invulnerable. You literally cannot die while you drag the window around. Footage in the background right now on video. And that might be hilarious and stupid, but the problem is rooted so much deeper it should be immediately alarming to everyone. You don't just become invincible, you actually physically lock in place no matter what. For instance, if you are falling, you just stop and float there, midair. This can go on indefinitely, and the reason it's so ridiculous is because it indicates that client-side authority is absolute. The initially discovered lag exploit, that was client-side too, because you can actually still do things on your own screen, but actions aren't executing for other people. That kind of client-side control is horrifying because it means there is an immeasurable amount of influence that can be exerted over the game by individual players a million separate ways. The invincibility, that's just the start. There's more to come. Mark my words, people will, if they haven't already, discover duping glitches, which absolutely existed pre-release and probably still exist right now and are happening. We'll see, they'll blow up eventually. Further PvP exploitation, speed hacks, and more, because changing values or manipulating the interface client side is extremely easy to do. Whenever a territory flips, whenever a war is won or lost, you have no idea if it was legitimate or not. It probably wasn't, to be real, and that is a central pillar of the game. Territory control affects taxation, economy potential, Azoth prices in a world where Azoth is already a frustrating mechanic by itself, and more. When the PvP system is totally and completely undermined to a degree where it cannot be considered even functional and needs to be immediately disabled, how can we rightly sit here and say anything other than the game isn't ready? Because that's all I can really say. I didn't even go deeper on dozens of other problems, like how numerical values are almost all universally wrong. We're in Anthem territory here. No joke at all, we actually are in Anthem territory. The light armor 20% damage boost, it's not 20%, it's between 7 and 13%. The fire staff abilities like Rune of Helios, they aren't 30%, they're 22%, as per one user's testing on Reddit. And critical hits only do 30% increased damage instead of 60% with light armor as opposed to heavy, because it's completely broken and nonsensical. Having 300 intelligence for a fire staff? Broken, doesn't provide what it should. Having over 250 strength? Broken, slows down animation time instead of speeding up stamina regen, and some servers are jumping forward in their own internal clock time, leading to like 15 downgrades for territories all at once, then the server crashes, and I don't even have the lung capacity to describe just how many things are broken in this game. Final point, the community in New World is absolute garbage. That's a broad strokes generalization, so let me elaborate a bit while I farm those dislikes. Not every company is made up of awful people, or exploit-driven losers, but the game intrinsically rewards, incentivizes, and caters to those who are the bottom of the social barrel. Most companies are fine, but unless you want to drag their window around, right, all around the screen for 30 minutes to win a war, unless that's your preferred tactic, or spam AoE abilities to glitch out the entire battle and fight statues with client-side lag, they are going to lose against whatever company decides to do it. In my review, I anecdotally discussed how one company on our particular server, the Enclave, was doing this exact type of thing, and little did I know they are actually very well known in other games for similar reasons. Their leader, Buzzcut Psycho, also known as Horrigan previously, has a bit of a track record in World of Warcraft. Their group was actually banned, I believe, for attracting the attention of a US congressman because of their propensity to do things like roleplay as KKK members. Their group goes all the way back to PlanetSide and PlanetSide 2, where they trolled an in-game funeral for a developer, I think it was, saying things like, "We're glad he's dead." And even my simple mention of them in a review resulted in their members joining our Discord server to spam images of minorities being hanged, and videos that contained similar material. I didn't even watch those videos, we filed proper reports to Discord, the whole 9 yards, and we got rid of them, banned them from the server, but I say this with the utmost sincerity. The Enclave, supported by YouTubers like Swole Benji, and led by people like Buzzcut Psycho, are the exact type of disgusting person that makes it possible for gaming media to demonize gamers at large. People like them make it feasible to brand massive chunks of the gaming community as Nazis and alt-right bigots, because the things that they say and do, the actions they take, the morals they hold, it's incredibly hard to look at the full picture in context and say anything other than, yeah, they are pretty fucking awful people. The rest of it, I've said before, companies are still mass reporting to get key players banned before wars, but in true New World community fashion, they are also expanding that tactic because why not get someone banned for stealing your resource node? You can mass report for chat abuse and it works, so why not do it? People are getting banned for anything really because all it takes is a group of coordinated assholes to mass report and you're gone for 24 hours. And the appeal takes more than 24 hours, so you just get temporarily banned for whatever the bigger group of dipshits thinks you should be banned for. It's a disaster. The game is a disaster. The balancing is a disaster. The PvE is half broken, and by broken I mean it literally doesn't function, blocking out huge swaths of the content that actually does exist, so it's kind of even worse when you think about it. The PvP is botched, completely destroyed by exploits and bugs. Client-side control makes it unbelievably easy to cheat. People are getting each other banned for anything under the sun, and it's almost none of it is legitimate. The calculations are broken, and if you need one more example of what this game is right now, it's in the background. That is the state of New World. You can't do portals or expeditions. I mean, you can very infrequently, but it's really incredibly hard to actually get someone who has one of those orbs and then do it. Like, they can't actually be done in the way they're intended to be done. The wars are broken. The economy is fucked up. So what do people do? They spam farm world bosses where you just frantically try to get kill credit or snag a hit on the boss as you zerg the content with no skill or actual satisfaction, and you do all of it to participate in secondary systems that are, you guessed it, broken. New World is a botched game at this particular point. It's fun for a while, and if you plan to play it in the most casual sense, sure. But I decided that today I was going to use the channel to vent and make myself feel better, because I truly wanted this game to be great. I truly wanted to enjoy this game as my main title for weeks, months, even years, hopefully. And what it is right now sucks. It sucks really bad. How do they fix it? Disable PvP immediately and until it can be completely overhauled. Do something to get the corrupted portals functional again as soon as possible. That is the only priority at this point in time. And either tie the economies together or stop the ability for them to be viewed from everywhere. All it is right now is a tedious, broken, fiscally idiotic puzzle board where you try to get around and do things at separate locations while half the endgame isn't even playable. And every single war is inherently a joke. I have no idea how people are defending this. I consider this the end of my New World coverage. I had initially planned to do a series of guides, but all I see now is the best DPS guide or the best crafting methods from other YouTubers. But these YouTubers are basing it all on numbers and bonuses that don't even compute correctly, thereby invalidating all of their content. What is the actual point here? I'll still play on my own a bit. I will certainly check out the patches. That much is definitely true. Because who knows, maybe they can pull off a miracle, but I'm done covering it because I have nothing positive to say anymore about this game. And I could have just shut my mouth and moved on without this video as well, that's true, but somehow I just kept getting annoyed, like holding in a sneeze. This was my sneeze. I'm done. Have a nice night.
Northeast!
Bisschen hier mal holen.
Der Westwind trug die Neuigkeiten schnell heran. Die Ebenmastflotte ist dank dir außer Gefecht. Du überraschst uns immer wieder. Der Westwind, du verlangst einen großen Vertrauensvorschuss. Du musst den Kreaturen dieses Ortes Opfergaben bringen. Sie werden deine Absichten überprüfen. Nehmen sie deine Opfer an. Dann hast du den Segen der zornigen Erdkreaturen und kannst deinen Plan durchführen.
Seit das Eis verschwunden.
Krasser Mensch. Bist du hier, um Opfer darzubringen? Ich vermisse.
Bodies! Bodies!
Nur weh, der Sturm verbreitete Verderben ist und die Sonne verdunkt. Mein Volk kann keine Nahrung anbauen, wie sehr sie benötigt. Durch ihre Handwerkskunst hat ihr Leiden nun ein Ende. Mein Segen geht nun andere Wege.
I've had a lot of people come into my stream recently, and after watching me play for a little while, they've asked me to let them know how I built my healer, which allows him to do so much damage. So today's video is going to be a very detailed description on how I built my life staff focused based healer that is also able to do very good damage and at the same time be extremely tanky. Now this is done with 4 basic big steps. First step, obviously you've got to spec focus, as you need high focus to do great healing. Now I know what you're saying, but wait, hold on, life staff sucks for damage. True, but wait, just hold on, let me explain. As you can see, my build allows myself as a healer to also dish out some very respectable damage. Here I am in an area with mobs that are anywhere between 1 and 3 levels below me. That's basically just the area that I'm questing in at the moment. And as you can see, I'm able to kill mobs very quickly, which allows me to also level at a very quick pace for a healer. You'll also notice that I'm wielding a two-handed axe. But wait, you say, a two-handed axe is strength-based. That is correct, but you can change that. Let me explain. So step number 2, obviously, is you have to choose your weapons. Now, as a healer, obviously, I have to go with life staff as one of my weapons. With choosing life staff and maxing out my focus, this also means that I'm going to be doing a tremendous amount of healing. Now, for my second weapon, which would be my primary DPS weapon, I've chosen for the time being to go with the two-handed axe. The method that I'm using to get high DPS as a focus-based character will do well with basically any weapon. So if you prefer to go with bow or fire staff or whatever have you as a healer, you're more than welcome to do so. In fact, I plan on carrying around 4 weapons in my bag with me at all times, and all should be able to do very good damage. Your second weapon, or your primary DPS weapon, can be anything as long as it has a gem slot available to it, and this is kind of where the magic happens. There's gems that can be crafted and easily obtainable called amber gem. Different cuts will have different power, and early on in the game you'll probably only have access to cut flawed ambers until people get their skill raised. As you can see by reading the tooltip, the cut flawed amber will have your weapon's damage scale off of focus rather than the normal stats such as dexterity, strength, or intelligence. So you can basically buy any weapon that you want as long as it has one of these gem slots, slot in one of these amber gems, and it'll force your weapon to basically scale off the focus instead. So you could have a fire staff, a bow, whatever you want, and have it scale off of your focus rather than dexterity, con, intelligence. Now on to step 3, because this build doesn't just stop with swapping the stat of the weapon, that's just the beginning. We do the exact same thing to the gear that you get, and a great place to start is your faction vendor gear. You can take this gear, again normally it's got con and a stat that isn't focus, and change that stat into focus. We do this with another item that you buy off the faction vendor for very cheap called the Covenant Cleric Seal. As you can see once again with the tooltip, this will change your faction armor's attributes to be con and focus. This means that your weapons, both DPS and life staff, will benefit even more. Now, step 4 is, I guess, optional, but I would strongly advise that you do so, and that would be buying or obtaining a second set of a different type of armor. One of the great things about this spec is how tremendously adaptable it is to different situations. If you're just roaming around doing quests, you can stick to light armor for dodge, rolling, and movement, so you can get around the zones quickly and kill mobs quickly, etc., etc. However, if you're in a battle over territory, you can swap over to heavy armor, and suddenly you're a frontline healer, still doing respectable damage, but helping hold down the lines with additional heals. All you have to do is obtain a second set of armor, of heavy armor, and apply the Covenant Cleric Seal to that piece as well. Now imagine multiple toons spec like this and added to the fight. It could very well turn the tide of the battle. How about range DPS? Maybe you want to be a bow user or a fire staff user, and then you can swap to life staff for additional healing. Also, if your primary DPS weapon is a two-hander and the target starts to move away, you can swap back to your life staff for range DPS. Now normally the life staff is not normally thought of as great for DPS, but with such high focus, it actually does get the job done. The last thing I'll say about this spec is the points into life staff and your weapon. I'm not going to go into each weapon and give a talent spec for it for obvious reasons, and some of these powers are obviously very situational and subjective. As an example, with life staff in any territory war, I would always have Sacred Ground and Beacon, along with passages that I feel are necessary. Again, these are situational and subjective. You might have a different playstyle than my own. Now, I know I've made this build sound like it's the best build in the world and it's amazing, but there are some negatives about this build that I want you to consider before you actually start using this build to decide whether or not maybe it's right for you. First of all, you're a healer first. You will never be as high DPS as other classes simply because you don't have a second weapon to swap to with more cooldowns to use. As you are using life staff as one of your weapons, your options for CC are also limited compared to a second DPS weapon. This can be a very big disadvantage as others in the fight will be able to swap to other DPS weapons with much better CC to help control the fight. Also keep in mind that you will not be getting the additional bonus you get for every 50 points that you put into strength, dexterity, or intelligence, which is obviously an additional loss of DPS. You would, however, get the additional bonus that you would get for every 50 points that you put into focus. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if the video was at all informative, please consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up. It really actually helps out with the algorithm. If you have any other questions or just want to chat about New World or any other MMOs, please feel free to stop on my Twitch, where I stream 6 days a week at twitch.tv/Aladar. Thanks, and have a great day.
Wildfood ist eine ausgewogene Mahlzeit, die alles enthält. 26 Gramm Protein und Ballast.
Hey guys, how's it going? Ed back here, and welcome to my first video of the new how-to series for New World. Now in today's video, we're going to cover the topic of healing, as it's something that I have extensive experience with, having healed for hundreds and hundreds of hours during the open beta, closed beta, and various alphas. But if you guys are interested in a different aspect of New World, how to tank, how to do expeditions, how to do corrupted breaches, how to buy a territory, so on and so forth, I'll put a link to the full playlist in the description down below. We're going to be adding videos all the time to that playlist. So if you want to stay up to date as they come out, make sure you click the subscribe button and the like button if you enjoyed this video in particular. But getting back to the topic at hand, how do we heal in New World? Well, we're going to be making the assumption that you guys have a basic understanding of New World in that there are no classes in the game. You don't choose a healer class at the start of the game. The way that you would be a healer in New World is by primarily using the life staff and putting the majority of your points into focus. Now, with this being said, at level 1, so you just pick up a life staff out of a chest, how do I heal with it? You can't. It's not until you get around 2 to 3 weapon mastery levels with the life staff before you can actually heal somebody. So how do I get weapon mastery, Baggins? Because this is going to be the night and day for the life staff. I've heard a lot of people complain that they think the life staff is underpowered. In my experience, it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game, if not the most powerful weapon in the game, but it does scale incredibly well with weapon mastery. So early on, you're going to have a terrible time with life staff. You're going to find it very hard to kill things. You're going to find it impossible to heal people. But if you can stick through it, you're going to find that you have a really powerful weapon in your hands, which you can use to massively change the flow of fights. So your next question would probably be, well, how do I get weapon mastery with life staff then? What are the best ways to get weapon mastery? And the honest answer is just to kill stuff. Now, killing stuff just alone with the life staff is going to take you a lot of time early on, so I propose that you go for my solo leveling build. If you are playing solo, I'll put a link to it up in the top right. It involves life staff, hatchet, and light armor. But if you're playing in a group, you can run life staff, ice gauntlet, and maybe medium to heavy armor, although I would still keep the light armor for like your first 20 to 25 character levels in the game. Now, it is important to note, if you want to get mastery levels for your life staff, you will need to still attack the enemies with the life staff. Just healing your team alone is not enough, so make sure that you land at least 1 to 2 light attacks on every enemy before it dies, alongside weaving in the heals and using your ice gauntlet utility to keep yourself alive and allow your teammates to do extra damage. So we know how to get weapon mastery level, but now let's talk about how to spend the points. So we're going to go over to a website and I'll show you how I would build my life staff. So this is newworlddatabase.com. I'll put a link to the website in the description down below. It's not sponsored, I just think it is a very nice looking website. This is my fully finished life staff skill tree if you just want to see like, okay, this is what I'm aiming for. But something that I think would be helpful for you guys to know is how to build it starting from scratch. If we just redo all of our points here, where do I go with my very first level? In my opinion, I think it's best to pick up Absolved, as this is just one of the best classes in the game for the life staff. Basically, your life staff's light and heavy attacks no longer cost mana, which is tremendously important. Then we're immediately we want Sacred Dragons because it is just like the best heal in the game when you max it out. Next, we're going over to the Projected Tree. This says after you dodge, your heal is 20% more effective for 5 seconds. the general rule of thumb is if the passive says increase your heal or make your heal more effective, you want to take it. So strength, we're looking at bless, we're looking at divine blessing, we're looking at all these things increase your outgoing healing. The bigger your heal, you know, the more useful you're going to be. So that being said, going back to spending the points at level 3, I would pick up Beacon, and then at level 4, I would pick up Light and Break. This way, you have a fully maxed out combo, and you can actually start healing. Now, you're not going to be healing that much, because again, the more focus you get, the bigger your heals will be. You still need to pick up those passive to actually start doing some decent sized heals. So going back over to the left side for level 5, maxing out Sacred Ground. At level 6, you can pick up Blessed. Now, Blessed, again, really important. While allies standing in Sacred Ground, they heal 50% on top of the 20% from here, on top of the 30% from this level, what we're taking up level 7, or is this level 8? No, you get the idea. From here, I would then recommend going back over to the Protector tree and getting the next 2 points into Beacon, so increase the size of effect of the beacon, and also increase the duration that it lasts. Then we're going back over to the left side, and we want to get Divine Blessing, because this again increases your outgoing healing to your targets below 50%, we fully top them up with something like Light Embrace. So taking Revitalize, every time we land a light attack, it reduces your cooldown, so keep spamming light attacks. In conjunction with that, something else that is beneficial when you spam light attacks, if they go through your ally and hit an enemy, or they just go through your ally, they'll deal with the weapon damage. Probably by the time you are like level 12 with the life staff, you hopefully have a fairly decent life staff that has pretty good weapon damage rating on it, so this is actually going to be a significant number. This is why we don't pick it up too early on, because early on, the weapon damage from the life staff is going to be so bad that 20% of it is basically like no healing at all. Later on, as your life staff gets like more damage, this becomes more powerful. Then we're going to pick up some cooldown reduction from Desperate Speed. We're going to pick up some incoming healing from Sacred Protection. Then we need to spend 1 more point to get Divine Blessing. So out of these 2, I would prefer to go for Mending Touch. I think this is just too long of a cooldown. 120 seconds is just too long in new world time. So Mending Touch removes from your tank, or PvP to remove from it. That's very useful. And then we have Divine Blessing. But at this point, we're pretty much good. We still have a few points left to spend, but you can kind of choose to spend them the way you want it. Me personally, I would get more outgoing healing. That's very nice. I would get the extra mana on Light's Embrace for topping up your tank so they can keep blocking. They can use their stamina more aggressively, and you can keep restoring stamina to them. And then the last point, I think Protector's Touch is a nice little solo benefit as well. Makes you a little bit tankier. It gives you damage reduction every time you land a light or heavy attack. So that is our fully fleshed out life staff tree. If you're more interested in playing solo, you could substitute either Light's Embrace or Beacon for Aura Protection. Aura Protection is another damaging ability. If you do hate the idea of doing single target heals, because if you're doing single target heals, it means you have to probably turn the targeted healing setting on. I'll talk about my healing settings later on in the video, but if you don't want to play with single target heals because you find them really difficult to land, you could go for an all AoE healing build and take Aura Protection instead. Maybe go for the point there instead, and you know, fairly similar tree, so 2 points into Light's Embrace or 2 points into Aura Protection. You choose your preference. I do think Light's Embrace is a really powerful heal right now, though. In terms of Ice Gauntlet, for the group content, this is what my fully finished build would look like. It is largely up to you. I would pretty much recommend that you take Ice Storm and at least put 3 points into it. When enemies are standing in Ice Storm, if they're below 50% health, they take 10% more damage from you and all your teammates, so you can up your teammates' damage by putting them in the Ice Storm, which is very valuable. But one of the main reasons we're taking the Ice Gauntlet in the team scenario is because we want Entombed or Ice Tomb. When you are in Ice Tomb, it's very hard for enemies to kill you, so if the tank runs aggro and you have all of the mobs swarming you, you can press Ice Block, you're nice and safe, you can get allow the tank to transport everybody up you again. Also in the PvP scenario, this can save you many times over as well. And another very important aspect of Ice Tomb is that it gives you a massively increased mana regenerate. So we'll talk about the healing rotation later on, and I'll show you how powerful it is. But when you're in Ice Tomb, your mana regenerates very fast, which is super useful as a healer because you are going to be burning through your mana like there's no tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, if you want to see the solo hatchet life staff build, again, I'll put a link to that in the top right. But in the interest of keeping the duration of this video short out, we're not going to show the life staff hatchet build just now. So that's how I would recommend that you build your life staff, but how do you actually use it in combat? What does like effective healing look like, or what does your rotation look like? Now every fight is different in New World, and especially in PvP, you're not always going to get get this sort of ideal scenario where you can pull off this exact combo. But let's say we're in a dungeon, the tank is pulling. First, I would start by building my Intensify stacks by landing 3 heavy attacks. Each heavy attack gives us 10% more healing, up to 30%, and this lasts for 10 seconds. So it's just important, every 10 seconds we land a heavy attack to make sure we stay at 3 stacks of Intensify. From here, I would then do a dodge to get the band light effect, so we have another 20% outgoing healing. At this point, we have 50% outgoing healing in total. Then we throw the Sacred Ground onto the tank or in the middle of the group. Important note here, by the way, if you are playing with targeted healing, you can press the middle mouse button. This will unlock the Sacred Ground, and then you can freely place it wherever you want. Also, if you're in a bit of a pinch and you just need to cast a heal on yourself because you're in a lot of trouble, hold in Control before you cast the ability and you will cast it on yourself. This works for Divine Embrace, Light's Embrace, and Sacred Ground. So Control for yourself, middle mouse button to unlock it and place it freely. So we've done the 3 stacks of Intensify with heavy attacks, we've done the dodge, we've got the Sacred Ground down for another 50% healing, so that's 30%, 20%, and then another 50% on top. Then we throw out the Beacon for a big AoE heal. Hopefully the team's somewhat roughly grouped up. If you do need to throw out another single target heal with the Light's Embrace to top somebody up, go for that. Assuming everybody's full health, you switch over to the Ice Gauntlet, you drop the Ice Storm on the group. Hopefully by now they're below 50% health. With this, you make sure that the enemy is taking 10% more damage from a teammate, and then you can sort of take a break, go into the Ice Tomb, and regenerate your mana, because you should probably spent more than half your mana during this rotation, and then it's rinse and repeat. We make sure we get the heavy auto attacks, we do a dodge before we cast any of our ground targeted heals, or any heals in general, and it's basically rinse and repeat from here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, your heal settings can make a pretty big difference to sort of how you heal in the game, so here are my settings on the screen here. I personally wouldn't really recommend changing too much, but I think if you do want to be a dedicated healer, play with each individual setting and find what works for you. I think one of the most important things is whether you play with group mode on or off. If you play with group mode on, you'll only be able to heal members in your group. So if you're playing in a war and you want to heal some like random traveler who walks past you, you won't be able to do that with group mode unless you cast something like Sacred Ground and then, you know, middle mouse button, unlock it and place it under that person. Generally, I like to play with group mode because I feel like as a healer, I'm responsible for my group, and if there's another group, they should have their own dedicated healer who's looking after them. It's also a bit of a nightmare to try and cast Light's Embrace on somebody in your party when there's like 15 other people in front of you. So personally, I play with group mode generally on. But again, it comes down to personal preference, what settings you guys like to play with here. Last couple of things to talk about. What gems should you be running in your gear? When it comes to weapons, you pretty much always want to put a diamond in your life staff. The diamond gives you increased outgoing healing if you're at full health. But the good news is, as the healer in your group, you are responsible. You are directly in control of who can be at full health. So just make sure you're at full health, top yourself up, and then you'll have extra outgoing healing, which again is just what we want. Outgoing healing, always good. In your secondary weapon, you pretty much always want to be using the Amber Gem, as this is going to add a lot of extra damage to your weapon. The Amber Gem converts part of the weapon's damage to scale off of focus, and since you're putting pretty much all of your points into focus, it's just like a no-brainer with the Amber Gem in the secondary weapon. Now, while we're on the topic of stats, we may as well get into where should you be putting our points. And as you may have guessed from what we've been talking about so far, it's pretty much all into focus. I would recommend, this is without any extra gear, so if we have perfect gear, we can get quite a few extra points. Just from the points that you get from leveling low, we want to get to at least 150 focus. Once we get to 150 focus, we have 20% extra outgoing healing. And again, the more outgoing healing, the better, because that means you can drop that light armor in favor of medium or heavy armor, so you can actually take a few hits in a fight without immediately going down. Because you got to remember, if you're dead, if you're knocked down, you can't do any healing whatsoever. So I would recommend transitioning to medium or heavy armor as soon as you feel like your healing numbers are good enough. And something that will help you feel like your healing numbers are good enough is having 150 points into focus, because again, another 20% extra outgoing healing on top of Bend Light, Intensify, Blessed, Divine, whatever it's called, the ultimate. You know, there's just so many extra outgoing healing things that you can get that you don't really need the other 20% from light armor. You could go to 10% from medium or even 0% with heavy armor. For any remaining points that you do have left over, if you feel like your heals are good enough and you don't need any more points in focus, and again, the more points in focus the better, but I would recommend trying to get to at least 50 points in Constitution. You can save a heal, instead just use a healing potion. You can't use healing potions on teammates, but you can use them on yourself, and you can have them heal you for 20% more with 50 Constitution. Also, this just gives you a little bit of extra hit points to play around with, so you don't get one-shot by bosses or, you know, a player with a pretty nasty musket or fire staff, something like that. Some people ask me if it's worth putting any points into intelligence so they can do more damage with the light and heavy magic attacks, but that's not really your role as a healer. You're not there to do damage. If you do want to do damage, pull out your secondary weapon, and, you know, with the focus jam, it should still be hitting pretty hard. So yeah, just focus, a little bit of Constitution. That's how the points are looking, in my opinion, for the ideal healer setup. And I think that pretty much does it for healing in New World, guys. I may have not gone into exacts on every single detail of healing, but that would make this video like much longer in length, and I wanted to keep it pretty concise. If you guys do have any additional questions, feel free to ask them in the comments down below. I generally respond to comments within 24 hours, but if you need the answer straight away, I will be live during the release for many hours a day, so I'll put a link to the stream in the description down below. I do try to answer as many questions from chat as I can, so feel free to drop in by that. Once again, guys, if you did find this video useful, make sure you go ahead and click the like button. Subscribe if you want to see future how-tos. If there's anything in particular you guys are curious about and you want to see next, like how to tank or other aspects of New World, let me know in the comments down below. That will help me decide what video I should do next. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Hey guys, how's it going? It's a Baggins here. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Baggins here, and before we jump into the gameplay for today's video, which is me healing the level 45 dungeon during the open beta, I wanted to talk quickly about healing in New World and the nerfs we received during the open beta patch. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link to it in the description down below. You can see the patch notes there. But healing was reduced by 20% during the open beta. And if you wanted to get the healing back, you could equip light armor or being a light load, and that would increase. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Baggins here, and welcome to my first video of a new how-to.
Bodies! Bodies! Bodies!
wohl zusammen. Ich wollte wissen, wie sich vergessliche Kreaturen erinnern. Ja, ich weiß nun, dass sie Erinnerungen in Dingen aufbewahren.